A brief history of fashion from the oldest times until present. Fashion has a rich and diverse history that spans thousands of years, dating back to ancient civilizations like Egypt, Greece, and Rome. Fashion in ancient times was often tied to religion, status, and cultural traditions. For example, in ancient Egypt, clothing was made from linen and was often highly decorated with gold, silver, and gems to reflect a person's wealth and status. In ancient Greece and Rome, togas and tunics were popular forms of dress, and were often made from luxurious fabrics like silk and wool. During the Middle Ages, fashion was influenced by the Catholic Church, which dictated the styles and materials used in clothing. During the Renaissance, fashion saw a revival of classical styles, and clothing became more elaborate, with wider skirts and corsets becoming popular. The 19th century saw a move towards more structured, tailored clothing, with dresses and suits becoming popular. The Victorian era was characterized by restrictive corsets, elaborate hairstyles, and ornate accessories. In the 20th century, fashion became more fluid, with styles changing rapidly and new innovations like the zipper and synthetic fabrics transforming the way clothing was made. The Roaring Twenties saw the rise of flapper dresses, while the 50s and 60s saw the rise of more casual, laid-back styles. Today, fashion is more eclectic and diverse than ever before, with styles ranging from minimalist to elaborate and ornate. The rise of technology and the internet has made fashion more accessible, with designers and consumers able to share ideas and trends more easily than ever before. From ancient times to the present day, fashion has been an important reflection of cultural, social, and economic changes, and continues to play a central role in shaping the way we look and feel. The 19th century was a period of significant change in the world of fashion, marked by the move towards more structured and tailored clothing. The early part of the 19th century saw the rise of Romanticism, which was characterized by flowing, romantic clothing styles. Women wore high-waisted dresses with long, flowing skirts, while men wore long jackets and trousers. The rise of the Industrial Revolution in the mid-19th century had a major impact on fashion, as mass production techniques made it possible to produce clothing more quickly and cheaply. This led to an increase in the availability of affordable clothing, and allowed people to dress in a more varied and eclectic manner. The Victorian era, 1837 to 1901, is perhaps the most well-known period of 19th century fashion, and was characterized by restrictive corsets, elaborate hairstyles, and ornate accessories. Women's clothing was designed to emphasize the hourglass figure, and was often highly decorated with lace, ribbons, and other embellishments. Men's fashion in the 19th century was also changing, with a move towards more tailored and structured clothing. The rise of the middle class and the growth of the office-based workforce meant that men needed to dress in a more professional and business-like manner, and so formal suits became more popular. In the latter part of the 19th century, haute couture, high fashion, emerged in France, as designers began to create custom-made clothing for wealthy clients. The 20th century was a time of great change and innovation in the world of fashion, characterized by several key trends and events. Here are some of the most significant. The early part of the century was marked by the Art Nouveau movement, which emphasized ornate, flowing designs and organic shapes. This was reflected in the clothing of the time, which featured flowing, loose-fitting dresses and exaggerated sleeves. The First World War had a major impact on fashion, as clothing became more practical and functional. Women's clothing became more tailored, with shorter hemlines and looser, more comfortable cuts, while men's clothing became more military-inspired. The 1920s, often referred to as the Roaring Twenties, were a time of great change in fashion, as women's clothing became more relaxed and comfortable. The iconic flapper style, characterized by shorter hemlines, shorter hair, and a more casual attitude, became popular. The Second World War had a similar impact on fashion as the First World War, with clothing becoming more practical and functional. Women's clothing was designed to be more efficient and less wasteful, with shorter hemlines and a focus on using less fabric. After the end of the Second World War, fashion underwent a major transformation, with the introduction of Christian Dior's new look in 1947. This style, characterized by a full skirt, cinched waist, and high heels, marked a return to a more feminine and sophisticated style of dressing. The 1960s and 1970s saw the rise of youth culture, and fashion became more focused on individual expression and self-expression. The iconic hippie style, characterized by flowing dresses, long hair, and bold prints, became popular, and was a response to the more restrictive and structured styles of the previous decade. The late 20th century saw the rise of ready-to-wear fashion, as mass production techniques and globalization made it possible to produce and distribute clothing more quickly and cheaply. This made fashion more accessible to a wider range of people, and allowed for greater experimentation and innovation in design. The rise of technology has had a major impact on fashion in the 21st century, allowing for new materials, techniques, and designs to be explored. 3D printing, for example, has made it possible to produce clothing that would have been impossible to create using traditional methods. Sustainability has become a major focus in the fashion industry, as consumers increasingly demand environmentally friendly and ethically produced clothing. This has led to a rise in the use of sustainable materials, such as organic cotton, and a focus on reducing waste and emissions in the production process. Streetwear has emerged as a major trend in 21st century fashion, characterized by oversized clothing, bold logos, and a focus on individuality and self-expression. This style has been influenced by hip-hop, skate culture, and other youth subcultures. The 21st century has seen a growing movement towards genderless and unisex fashion, as traditional gender norms are challenged and more people embrace non-binary and gender-fluid identities. This has led to a more inclusive and diverse fashion landscape, where clothing is not limited by gender or binary norms. Fast fashion, the production of inexpensive, quickly made clothing designed to respond to the latest trends, has become a major issue in the 21st century. This has led to concerns about waste, sustainability, and the exploitation of workers in the global supply chain. The convergence of luxury and streetwear has become a major trend in 21st century fashion, as high-end designers embrace the bold aesthetics and casual attitude of streetwear. This has resulted in a more democratized fashion landscape, where high-end and street-level styles are more closely linked. Fashion has seen major changes from the oldest times until now and innovations, and has set the stage for continued exploration and experimentation in the decades to come. And, if you liked our brief overview of the history of fashion, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, for more videos like this.